Last time we met, QMobile had quite a flagship to show off with the Z6. Looking extra sharp and more than decently equipped, QMobile has toned some of the specs down, but their next phone is looking even more impressive. The QMobile Noir Z7 may have lost some screen and camera resolution, but it managed to shed some grams and millimeters off the waistline along the way too. It briefly held the world's slimmest smartphone title until a post slipped a note under the door, in the form of an R5. But even without a world title on its resume, the QMobile Noir Z7 makes a fantastic first impression. An AMOLED screen within an all-glass shell reinforced by a metal frame, a premium combo and a weight of the unbelievable sub 100 G. On the inside, the QMobile Noir Z7 is powered by the same MediaTek chipset as the Z6, with an octa-core processor and a quad-core graphics accelerator. The camera department is more than reasonable too, an 8MP rear and a 5MP selfie cam. Unlike its premium predecessor, the Noir Z7 launches straight on Android KitKat, skinned with the Amigo launcher we've already seen. The Noir Z7 is certain to impress at the very first touch. The feel in hand is unique, never mind the slim profile, you just expect a certain heft to that handset. And you can't help but be amazed at just how light it is. The slim profile forced a few compromises though. The non-expandable storage is something many users have gotten used to, but the single storage option being 16 GB may as well be a deal breaker to some. The non-exchangeable battery is quite common nowadays, and the capacity is actually decent for a phone this slim. 2050 mAh isn't a bad achievement compared to the 1860 mAh of the Samsung Galaxy Alpha, which is quite slim on its own but not nearly as slim as the QMobile Noir Z7. The missing LTE connectivity isn't a big deal perhaps considering the main target markets. The thing that raises the biggest question is the amount of RAM, and we'll be exploring this in the performance chapter for sure. Let's talk about design and build quality. The two do look very much alike with dual sheets of glass, each covered by Gorilla Glass 3, front and rear, a metal frame holding the whole thing together. The gold and white color combination works great for the QMobile Noir Z7, but it's not just the successful mixture that's making it a memorable, beautiful phone. Certainly an attention grabber, the QMobile Noir Z7 has a near unique feel in hand too. The phone is of solid build and its golden frame successfully hides all signs of the assembly process. Of course, the glass design means you'll have to handle the Noir Z7 with extra care. Just one drop may cost you a lot, and we don't mean just money. The QMobile Noir Z7 is a pleasure to handle, perfectly fitting in both hand and pocket. The glass panels may become slippery and compromise the handling, but the sturdy metal frame with tapered edges will compensate for this inconvenience. Solid, light, and beautiful, it's a design that stands out. Above the 4.8 Super AMOLED screen we find the usual combination of an ambient light sensor, a proximity sensor and a wide-angle 5MP front-facing camera, either side of the earpiece. The control deck of 3 capacitive keys is below the display using the old-school layout: menu, home, back. As for the hardware controls, they are all on the right side of the phone. You get a power/lock key and a volume rocker, both made out of metal. The micro SIM compartment is the only thing of interest on the left, and you'll need the pin to eject it. The QMobile Noir Z7 has a 4.8 Super AMOLED screen of 720p resolution and 306 ppi. It's nicely saturated, it's bright and contrasted, and has low reflectivity. The color rendering is great, with punchy colors typical of AMOLED screens. There are no dedicated color presets like on the Galaxy flagships. The Noir Z7 screen proved slightly brighter than the Z6 screen, on par with the Galaxy S5 Mini and Galaxy Alpha display performances. Outdoors in the summer sun, the brightness comes a bit short though. Since it's a Super AMOLED display, the stellar contrast should hardly surprise. The sunlight legibility is great too, helped by the non-reflective screen, but as we said, it isn't as impressive as the Galaxy Alpha and the Galaxy S5 Mini. Now I am going to tell you about this phone's battery life. The QMobile Noir Z7 features a 2,050 mAh battery. QMobile Noir Z7 couldn't match the performance of its predecessor when it comes on 3G calls, but it did better on the web browsing test and the same on the loop video playback. The Noir Z7 standby endurance is outstanding though, even without any battery-saving enhancements turned on. It could last you nearly a month on a single charge, which is amazing. This surely helped for a better endurance rating. Now I am going to tell you performance of the phone. QMobile Noir Z7 is powered by the mid-range MediaTek MT6592 chipset, which translates into an octa-core Cortex A7 processor at 1.7 GHz, Mali 450 MP4 GPU, and 1 GB of RAM. We've already seen the same chip ticking inside the bigger Z6 and it offered quite uninspiring performance in the graphics department, mostly because of the higher resolution display. Now that the QMobile Noir Z7 uses a lower Res 720p display, as opposed to 1080p, we hope things will be fine this time around. The 1 GB RAM is still a concern and we'll explore thoroughly if this is a problem or not. Now, our first test is Geekbench 3, which gauges the overall processor performance. Even with 8 cores inside, the Cortex A7 isn't a powerful CPU core, so we didn't expect much. The Noir Z7 did better than the HTC Desire 816, which also runs on MT6592, but its score is behind the rest of the MT6592 gang. The N225 also takes in consideration GPU and memory performance. The QMobile Noir Z7 posted a good score by the N225 charts, but it's once again uninspiring when compared to other smartphones powered by the same MT6592 chip. QMobile Noir Z7 isn't doing well in all departments and we guess the insufficient RAM might be an issue at some occasions. The interface experience is smooth in the beginning, but once you start opening apps and using it on a daily basis, the QAmigo 2.0 OS becomes clumsy and there is this really annoying stuttering when scrolling panes or menus. The smartphone did well as far as handling apps is concerned. It packed enough processing power to do properly in running office apps, cloud services, and popular games. 3D games run okay too, but some more demanding eventually eat all the resources and the result is good OL lag. Overall, the QMobile Noir Z7 is good enough for its class, but either because insufficient RAM or because of improper optimizations, the performance isn't on par with the competition. So now I am going to discuss camera performance. 8MP camera does okay. The QMobile Noir Z7's 5.1 camera uses an 8MP camera that shoots in a maximum resolution of 3264 x 2448 pixels. There is also a LED flash to help you with some low-light photos. The settings menu can be accessed either via its dedicated shortcut or with a swipe from the top of the screen. It gives you access to HDR mode, auto scene, geotagging, resolution settings, anti-banding, among others. QMobile has included some nifty camera features in the Noir Z7 via the Charm Camera app. It supports beauty face, live filters, stamps and PPT, for presentations. It could have been better if all those modes were included in the standard camera app though. The QMobile Noir Z7 camera samples have an average level of resolved detail when viewed at 1:1 magnification. The noise reduction algorithm has taken its toll on the fine detail. The dynamic range is low, which is really annoying in those sunny pictures. The exposure, contrast, and colors are good, which makes for nice looking photos when you view them fitted on HD or Full HD monitor. Conclusion: the QMobile Noir Z7 is a phone you'll want to pick up as soon as you lay eyes on it. Once you've had it in your hand, we think you'll want to keep it. Long story short, the Noir Z7 hot looks and unique hand feel can make even semi-geeks forget about performance and software package, and otherwise sensible buyers may take the plunge not thinking for once about aftermarket support and resale value. QMobile has come up with a smart phone, which looks more premium than most flagships today. Speaking of, the QMobile Noir Z7 isn't a flagship, far from it, but it doesn't cost a fortune either. And, for the most part, it sounds pretty good on paper, an octa-core processor that's known to behave, a Super AMOLED screen, a high-res selfie camera, and Android KitKat right out of the box. A solid checklist for a mid-range device. The Noir Z7 performance as we measured it turned out acceptable but hardly a match for the looks. We soon found a single gig of RAM was doing the MediaTek MT6592 chipset and its octa-core processor no favor, even with all the management tools and KitKat optimizations available. The graphics chip isn't doing any better either. Our initial excitement took another hit with the quiet loudspeaker and disappointing camera performance. On a positive note, the smartphone offers a pretty good quality screen, decent battery life and comes bundled with a rich set of accessories.